can talk to them. That's what this stream is about. Let me demo what I did yesterday. Let's take a look at that. Okay, Z, good to see you. Okay, so there's this thing called a spiel, and it's basically you're saying what will a character say and how will they respond to things that a player might say, and that's all it is. There's a certain format for it, and I'll get into that today. But yesterday I made a text editor, like you call it a text editor. It's just a text box you can type inside of, and I hooked it up to undo and redo. So if you type some stuff, you go, "Hey everybody," then you do undo. It just undoes that bit there. And it uses debouncing so that it doesn't undo each and every little character, but it'll grab chunks of data entry and say that's one revision that we can undo on. I also made it so that this saves to browser persistent storage, so that if you exit the web app and come back, it will just load in what you were working on last. That's about what I did. Also fooled around with Copilot for the first time. And first, I gave GitHub test questions and some very simple functions to implement, and it did cool things. But then I said, you know what, this is maybe just a toy, so I'm just gonna work like I normally do, and if Copilot helps me, great. I don't expect anything from it. So in that first session where I was just doing work and not really focusing on Copilot, it helped me fix a bug. It found a language improvement to something that I've been typing for a while, where I could type something else and the code's a little bit better. And it predicted what I was about ready to type very well, grabbing from patterns in other source files in my project, and maybe even across my whole repository, I'm kind of hoping. Yeah, and I'm a novice at using Copilot, and kind of grouchy about it, but still it won me over. So that's impressive. It did useful things for me in my first session, and I'm gonna keep leaving it on as I write code and see how much more value I can get out of it, how much better I get at using it. And it might become a permanent fixture, or tools like it, of my development. It might be that good. There is one bad side to it, which is it's easy to get distracted by the suggestions it's making. Yeah, you'll see it, Z. You'll see it in a moment. It's easy to get distracted because it's giving you its thoughts, and if you want to have your own thoughts about how to do something, you have to somehow blank it out and like ignore looking at it. Kind of like if you're watching a movie, or like a comedy is where this applies most, and there's subtitles and they tell you a joke before the performer says the joke, it takes you out of it a bit and you don't laugh as much. Well, maybe with a smart tool auto-suggesting what code you're going to type next, it might take you out of that flow state where your brain is actively coming up with what's going to be typed next. So it remains to be seen if it's going to be a permanent tool for me, but so far so good. I'll demo just a tiny bit here. I honestly don't even need to demo that much. I can just go about doing my work and it'll start pulling things in. The types of demos that I found have been very common are when people just try to come up with a description of the function they want to implement. And they'll say like return the even numbered. See, it starts to autocomplete. It's like, this sounds like a coding cliche. And I was going to say elements in an array. but it's already kind of saying you're asking something that's been asked many times before, or not asked, but somebody's written code. And so it's got like a function prototyped here. I can hit tab and it will accept that. If I close off the function and then I come in here and then just wait a moment longer, it has the full body of the function there. Now for me, that's not anything that valuable, to be honest, to be absolutely honest with you. For me, like this type of function is I come up with it so fast, and like it's a joy to write it out. And there's probably some tiny little refinements that make me a bit happier about it. That like this doesn't mean anything useful to me. It's rare that the functions that you have to write are going to be such kind of cliche functions. But occasionally it figures out some stuff that is off the beaten path. So this thing here with the set timeout, and first I put in, I won't explain the whole thing, but I put in a delay of 0 milliseconds, even though it said put it in for 100 milliseconds. And the thing that I wanted to do was actually wrong. And the thing that it popped in was correct and got me past the problem, which is the 100 millisecond delay over the 0. And so that probably saved me a half hour right there. It just popping in this number by default. All right. So I won't demo too much more of Copilot because I think Copilot can fend for itself and sort of produces a demo on its own as I type. Whenever you see some text that kind of is in gray like this that automatically appears off to the right, that's Copilot trying to come up with a suggestion for me to do something. And a lot of times it's just wildly off. It's like, what are you even guessing at? But enough times it does something useful that I'm inclined to keep it around. All right, so the task of the day is I want this import button to do something. What do I want to do? I want to bring up a file browsing dialog, allow the user to pick one of two formats of files that can be imported into this Spiel document here. I've already got code that performs the import. I've already got code elsewhere in the project that opens up file browser dialogues. So it's going to be a bit of gluing together. It will be interesting also to see if Copilot recognizes the patterns in the project well enough to make useful autocompletes. Okay. So if I go to this directory, this is all the code for my Spiel screen. There's a file interactions dialog here. And I can say import curious. See, it's already saying some pretty good stuff. Import Spiel. It's not quite correct. Let me see the pattern I used on the other one. So on the Faces screen, I've got an import dialog as well. Oh, I didn't put it there. I put it where? Where did I put it? Was it up in Faces Common? No. Okay, back down here. File interactions. Okay, this is what I did. Coming back over here. Let's do select Spiel file handle, and I'm going to accept multiples here. So Wisp Spiel. Let's see. This is going to be what it will be. spiel. And this one will end with spiel. And the other one, it's a file format I like quite a bit called Fountain, which is for writing screenplays. And it's kind of nice when you've got a script that has been written for actors and you want it to be pulled in. There's different screenwriting tools that will export in this format, and so I want to import the lines in this format. Okay, so Fountain script. Okay, MIME type Fountain, and do Fountain. Feels like there could be more than one accepted extension for that. I'll start with .fountain though. Okay, let's get my MIME types in order. I wonder if the people that came up with the Fountain standard have already created a MIME type for it. Fountain screenwriting format. Let's go to their website first. Okay, it does say Fountain text or SPMD. I'll remember that. Does it say anything about MIME types? I'll make up a MIME type for it if I need to. Fountain screenwriting MIME type. And then sometimes you have to say, no, I really mean it. I want you to find the MIME type. But I may just make up my own based on what I know. MIME. Dang it. If I say MIME type with quotes around it, I expect you, DuckDuckGo, to only return results that have got the MIME type in it. Text markdown, that might be a good one to do. Okay, MIME types. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Okay. So I kind of like that. So here, here, I've got a suggestion from GitHub Copilot. Why don't you use this MIME type? And that's kind of right. Like, I don't know if this has ever been used anyplace else before. But it's doing the, okay, this is text and the vendor is Fountain. I don't think that's quite right. But if I see it used someplace else, I will reuse it. So if I go like that. No. Let's see how. Is it in here? Alright, I'm spending too much time on this. It's not in there. Nick Blue, I am winning. Yes, I am winning. For some definitions of winning, I am definitely winning. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and use this MIME type, which is maybe bullshit, but just so it doesn't catch on if it's bullshit to do. I'm just gonna leave a comment here because this will go into an open source repository. I don't actually know the official MIME type for Fountain. Please holler at me if you do. Alright. Then that just lets me move on, because this isn't the most interesting thing to solve. Okay. It's on the extensions. Since it's got an array there, I'm assuming that I can do like go back to my other file interactions for faces and see what patterns I've already got there for this. So this is being called to get the handle. Here's import face. I want to do an import spiel. Let's come back to file interactions. Do import spiel. This needs to come from Spiel's screen. New face dialog. I don't want that. Don't want this. Okay. Select Spiel file handle. And this becomes Spiel file handle. That will just be opening up a text file and reading it. And I could follow the same pattern. Do set document name and set revision. Do I actually need the spiel text? I did a call to set revision there, and yeah, I don't think I'll actually need it. Okay, I'll do an await just so I can have some clue that no, not just to have a clue. I want to call this set modal dialog after after this returns. Okay, so then I'm going to follow the pattern from this one as well. Okay. Load spiel text from file handle. general. Over here. Okay, that's load face from name. Here's the other one. Load face from file def handle. Yeah, this is pretty close to what I want. Then let's see. Go over to my other project for importing spiels. Because I totally forgot what APIs I exposed from this guy. Spiel, file util, and fountain util. Fountain util. What do I got? Import fountain. I do wonder about my error handling on this. Maybe I can figure out the MIME type or the file type. Kind. What's kind? What is kind? Okay. File system file handle dot kind. Let's go figure out what that is. File system file handle kind. Oh, it's just going to be file or directory. Okay. So what about the file name? Do I get the file name from the file handle? I do. So if I get the file name, then I can just look at the extension at the end and see if it's a spiel. Const is fountain file equals ends with, and then I'll say dot spiel. So if it's not a fountain file, I'll just assume it's a spiel. I'll just return the text unedited. If it is a fountain file, then let's do an import fountain on the text. Okay, and then I need to export spiel. I think. Let's go back over to SL Spiel. SL Spiel. Spiel file util. What do I got? Yeah, okay, Spiel file. So I need to export a Spiel file from the Spiel. Got it. Export Spiel file. Turn Spiel text. Okay. So let's do an import. No, come on. Don't need those though. Okay. I don't even know if I've imported SL Spiel yet, so I probably need to do that, and I can do that with symbolic links. First off, let me see if I've already set that up. So I'll look at my node modules under SL Spiel. Am I doing that right? Web. Yeah, so I've not yet linked the dependency library for SL Spiel, but I will do that right now. Won't be hard. SL Spiel. npm run build. Okay, then we say it's npm link from here to set up the first half of the linkage. Okay, and come back over here to Wisp. We say npm link SL Spiel. Oh, I also have to link everything else at the same time. SL Web Audio. That's one thing I learned the hard way. Is if you just link one, it'll remove the linkages to the other ones. I don't know why, but that is what it does. Okay, so that appeared to work. I'll come back over here and see if I can get my imports. Okay, import fountain, export Spiel file from SL Spiel. Okay, so it accepted that, the linter did, which is great. I like the idea of using function instead of any. That's something that Copilot taught me. Okay, so say load Spiel text from file handle. Let me take a look again over here. Yeah, something else. So here it's passing set document name and set revision. Weird. I don't know why that's allowed to compile, to be honest. Oh, because it's okay. Because these were not parameters of that, they were parameters of setup for new face. So in setup for new face, I should do something like this actually, setup for new spiel. Because there's going to be more than one thing that opens a new spiel. Okay, so. Well, let's see, load spiel text. Okay, set active. Spiel name. Get rid of that. Persist. Clear the revision manager. Yep. Set revision for new spiel. This I want to be await set up for new spiel, and then I'll pass in this function. Okay. Set up revision for new spiel. What did that look like in the other screen? Yeah, where are you getting that from? Revision util, huh? Okay. Okay. Got it. So a lot of this is just copying decisions I made previously. Following my own patterns. Because I have two screens, and the old screen I got all this kind of thing working, but it's not exactly the same thing. Don't need the part loader. Okay, I gotta make sure it's grabbing from the right places on everything. If it comes from the faces screen, that's gonna be wrong. So just get rid of the stuff that I know is coming from the wrong place. That will light up with red ugliness below, but those are just clear indicators of what I need to fix, which is like a to-do list, basically. Okay, next revision, I need to do spiel text. Okay, revision manager, clear it, add the first revision, set the revision. That's it, that's all it is. So I come back to my file interactions. That's for the faces screen. File interactions. Okay. So if I say set up revision, that's redundant right there. I don't need that. Let's import that. Okay. So what will it do here? This function's got an extra perform disabling operation in it. Do I need that? Maybe a more correct way to do it would be like that. Yeah, it worked on the other one. I must have some nesting logic or something that's nesting safe in the other one. So I'll start with that. Okay, spiel text, and you're saying just go ahead and return it. Don't assign it to a variable. I can go along with that. Okay. So I'm just taking note of one thing, which is if I'm already committed to following the pattern by copying over from a different module, Copilot's not that helpful in recognizing the pattern and kind of prompting me to do the same thing. That's a time when it's better for me just to ignore Copilot, when I actually have a good idea that I could just go to that other file and copy the pattern from it. It's one of those yeah I know moments, you know, like when you're using Google Maps and it's the final few miles driving back to your house and you just want to shut off friggin' Google and say I got it from here. So that's kind of how I feel about some of this pattern matching stuff. It's clever. It's clever that it knows that I wrote something in a different file. But if I'm already aware that I can just go to that file and copy across, it sort of gets in the way. All right, so I see another red below, but did I get all the stuff out? Yeah, I did. Okay. I got all the stuff that was referencing the wrong screen, the faces screen. Persistence. So let's do an absolute path. You want to get the revision manager. That's going to come from revision util. So get the revision manager. Okay, that's kind of a large amount of new code. It's about time to test it out. One person might say, reasonably, that I should have tested out some smaller portion of it about 10 minutes ago. But I have been having good luck with writing large blocks of code and just getting them to work without problem afterward. I've just been doing great on this project with that. Okay, so on click for import is going to be import spiel, and we're going to pass in the set modal. Set document name, set revision. I believe that is the correct grouping. Import spiel. Modal doc revision. That's right. Okay. So first off, do I get a file dialog? I do. Yeah, okay, there's multiple formats here. Spiel and fountain script. Oh, if I want the allowed extensions to appear, I've got to put them in the description. That's useful. So let's come back to file interactions. Not that one. Okay, so here we'd say dot fountain dot spmd dot text. Okay, on this one, let's say dot spiel. Cancel out of here. Okay, that was successful. Let's do another import. Options. Okay, so that's a little nicer. All right, let's do a fountain file. If I go to, let's see, different project, older project, I've got at least one fountain file. Project, let's see, Conversations it was called. And that's going to be under Documents. Work Assets, the bagged up fountain, there it is. Now, let's set that there. Boy, will this work? We'll see. It worked. Let's call this one the bag. Okay. So it imported from a standard screenwriting format called the Fountain, or called Fountain, and it put it into this other format that I created called Spiel. So each one of these nodes is one line. It's one thing the character says. I will be able later on to edit this to add more interactive stuff in it. That's not bad. I'm feeling like adding an export in this session. That'll help me test a few things. I'm going to do that next. And then I'll probably stop the session and go make brunch for my family. Let's see. Let's do a commit on all this stuff. Okay. Well, it's nice to see old code I wrote working just fine. Or I should say old code from a different contributor that I've modified slightly, working just fine. Let's do the export. Which is probably going to be easier, to be honest. Okay, let's go to Faces screen, go to File Interactions, find, select, yeah, this one here. Okay, this opens up a slightly different dialog. It says find me a new file. Yep. Good use of autocomplete there. Wisp Spiel. And then go Spiel. Okay. And let's see, it's going to be another one called Export Face. Bring that over and use that as a pattern. Okay, I think let's just get the Spiel text from the revision manager. Okay. Yeah, nice. That is actually the line that I needed. So What are you going to complain about here? Oh, it could be null. That's true. So, actually, I think this is wrong, but it was the right idea. Current revision, bam, or we'll just do that. Okay. So then we got to hook up export spiel to the export button. Easily done. And for that, let's come up here and change this. Okay, is that the correct signature? It is. Okay, cool. So let's look for bad imports that we need to fix up. That looks okay. And then what about up here? Any junk up here? There's lots of junk. Let's get rid of all that junk. Okay, that's pretty good. So then if I come back to here and I say I want to export this, I want to put this someplace. Okay, so it took me to the directory I was last at. It's got save as with .spiel on the end. Let's go to a better directory. Documents, WISP, work assets, and I'll make a new folder. Spiels. Great. Save. Okay, so now it should have saved that file there. If I go and check it out, yeah, I've got that there. Now let's see if it, yep, it's got the same text. All good. So this is a nice moment because, you know, I spent like a fair amount of time writing the code earlier, and I just got it thrown into the project and working as it should very quickly. So this is a good place to take a break, honestly. I just finished a couple of features, and it's time for me to make some brunch. So Nick, Z, whoever else might be hanging out, thanks, and I will catch you later. Stopping the stream. Stopping the stream. Stopping the stream.